What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, got a couple topics that I wrote down. One of them is surrounding, you hear about it in the groups a lot. The people talking about they ain't getting no sales, and this is particularly, well, it's eBay, and I've been hearing people on Amazon saying the same things. And, just talking about the fact that they're not getting as much traffic. They feel like things are going bad and it's just not working out, and they're just not getting the traffic, and something must be broken wrong with eBay. And when you post those things in a group, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get a lot of people to agree with you. And there's an issue with that. It's because it's like you putting yourself in an echo chamber, and people begin to validate your thesis that something's wrong with eBay. And what that does is it leads to you not really trying to figure out what the core issue is, because you already assumed that eBay is the problem or Amazon is the problem. And so once that thesis is already kind of like validated by those people in your little echo chamber, you don't look for any other solutions to what the issue is. And I think that in and of itself is a problem. And so there's something I wanted to look at, right? Let me take this down and show you guys something. All right, so look at this with me. This is a website called SimilarWeb. It's a really good website. You got a lot of data, a lot of info. Okay, you can pay for it, but I don't pay for it. What I wanted to show was this. Okay, so here's eBay. All right, scroll down a little bit. And what you can see here is that eBay has a global rank of 38, country rank of 14, and category of 2. Amazon is number 1, of course. All right, scroll down a little bit. It gets 731.9 million, so 732 million total visits. Scroll down. Look at some of the info you can glean from this here page. Look at this. In January, it had 750. We're just going to round up. So 754 million views or visits. In February, it went down to 655 million. And then in March, it goes back up to 732 million views. All right. So it's still standing around the same. All right. Now look. But look at this. Total visits last month change is actually up almost 12%. All right, let's keep it going. And as you scroll down, you can get more and more data about this platform. It'll show you things like gender distribution. Okay, how many males versus females? Look at that. Age distribution, what your age, what the average age is. So look at that. The highest percentage is 25 to 34. Now, if you're selling items, right, this is very, very valuable information, man. Depending on what type of products you sell, what category you're in, this will help you decide which type of products, who you can target. It always gets me when people don't really understand like their target demographic and who they're trying to sell to, their basic customer. And I think that most resellers, unfortunately, don't understand that aspect of business. But anyway, let's continue to go. Top categories, top topics, and as you go down more and more, you can see other info, right? This is similar sites by eBay competitors. You got Amazon at the top, of course, Walmart's next, and then Etsy, AliExpress, Target, and all of them down here. All right, now I want to go back up to the top real quick, and then we're going to look at eBay versus Amazon first. So eBay's 38, Amazon's 13 in the world. You can scroll down. This thing is getting on my nerves. Oh my goodness, are we serious right now? Hate those damn pop-ups. Anyway, so look at this. total visits, eBay and Amazon, right? 732 million for eBay, 2.4 billion for Amazon. That is a huge difference, man. Huge difference. That's over double the traffic, okay? But still, they're both up. eBay is up almost 12%. Amazon is up a little over 9%, right? Now, if you look at this, here's the comparison. Look at that difference, man. Just look at the difference. eBay is nowhere near. For those of you who refuse to sell on Amazon for whatever reason, just look at that. Look at that potential. eBay's not even at $1 billion. That's way off of $1 billion, honestly. 300 more million. That's a lot. That's a lot. Look at that traffic on Amazon. Look at that. Just think of that in terms of dollar signs, potential for profit. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. If you can't see that and understand that, and if that doesn't make you want to start finding a way to sell on Amazon, I really don't know what will. But anyway, let's scroll down some more, and you can see they got traffic shared by country, and then this right here, okay? Gender distribution between eBay and Amazon. eBay actually seems to have more male shopping on it than Amazon does, okay? Over 50%, over 60% on eBay, and then just under 60% on Amazon. Age distribution is about the same for the most part, especially when it comes to that 25 to 34 age demographic. So that right there should be your target demographic for whatever you're trying to sell. 18 to 24 isn't that bad either. It's only 18%. It's under 20% on eBay, but it's over that on Amazon. All right. But that's kind of all I want to do. Let's kind of look at, I want to do one more thing and just look at it compared to Walmart. All right, so eBay and Walmart in the world. eBay got Walmart on that. Walmart's number 3. eBay's number 2 still, which makes sense, right? Walmart is newer than eBay when it comes to e-commerce. Here we go. So eBay got Walmart by about almost 300 million visits at the moment. And I think that's for a number of reasons, and it ain't necessarily a bad thing. There's more going on eBay than Walmart. But that, I feel like that's going to probably change in Walmart's favor over the coming years, especially with Walmart's focus going away from brick and mortar retail establishments and focusing more to online. So that's probably going to change and get higher. They're going to probably start catching up and eventually pass eBay in that, but that's just my thoughts. Age demographic is still about the same between the two. eBay still has more men than Walmart shopping. The age demographic is about the same. All right, so that's all I wanted to go through. As we can see, overall, traffic seems to be still up on eBay. And you can compare that to last year if you want or whatever, but that's kind of not my main point. My main point is this. It doesn't seem to be that traffic is an issue, okay? What seems to be the issue, maybe if your store is slow and you're experiencing issues with traffic, maybe, here's a thought, that is you. Okay, and so the problem, again, when I go back to this with posting in these groups, is that you're going to have a lot of people who are experiencing the same things as you, and they're going to echo what you're saying. Okay, but what you rarely hear are people suggesting solutions, right? It's eBay's broke. I don't know what's wrong with eBay. I've been selling on eBay since the dawn of man, and it wasn't like this in 24 BC, back when, you know, we used to have to da 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 da. Of course not. Why? Because things change. Things evolve. Customers change. Customers evolve. Products change. There's all types of factors that go into this. And so stop posting, and this is just my opinion, stop posting about your sales being slow on eBay, traffic being slow. You're not getting, yeah, there are some issues with eBay, okay? We ain't gonna like act like that eBay's perfect and there's nothing going wrong on. Yeah, there's some issues. But at the end of the day, traffic is still flowing to eBay. And we just looked at that and we just saw that the traffic is still flowing. Not only is the traffic is still flowing, a lot of people are still making a lot of money. And so if your sales are down, then you need to ask yourself, why is it? Okay. What's going on with your listings? What's going on with your titles? What's going on with your descriptions? What's going on with your pictures and images and things like that? You know, what's going on with the type of products that you sell? Are the products that you're selling in demand at the moment? Like, I never see anyone post about that, really. I'm not saying no one ever does or never does. I just don't see it. You really don't see that. And I'm not saying it never happens, because I've seen that it does sometimes. And also another issue with that is that, you know, the reason why people probably don't, people in these groups are just rude. You know, they're just really, really rude. So I don't blame people for not wanting to post or ask questions and get critiques about their store. The other half is that people probably are afraid to get critiqued about their store and the items. One of the things you got to ask yourself is, are my items in demand? If you can say yes to that, well, first of all, if your items aren't in demand, then you need to figure out, you know, what you're going to do about that. Are you just going to go ahead and get rid of them and figure out something else? Use therapy and see what's going on with those types of items and in that type of category. But if your items are in demand, but yours aren't selling, why are your items not selling? Why, if you can look at Terapeak and see that, hey, this category or these items are doing pretty good overall, but for some reason, mine are not moving, well then, you need to start to ask yourself, what's going on with your listings? Why are your listings not selling if overall the category and items in that category are actually selling? You know, and you need to start troubleshooting that way. I think it's a major fallacy for people to assume that the problem with their sales is eBay. eBay is not the problem. eBay has problems, but eBay is not the problem, if that makes sense. You know, and this is kind of what leads us into the issues surrounding price tanking and things of that nature, because people just don't understand what's going on. And so instead of trying to actually, and here's the thing, it's lazy mind, it's the lazy man and / woman approach, right? Instead of trying to troubleshoot and figure out what the issue really is, oh, let me just hurry up and lower the price. Let me just hurry up and lower the price. Until finally you basically kill the market when it comes to that, and that's, you know, specific type of item and everything. And it's like, why don't you just do the work? You know, why don't you just do the work, self-correct, ask some questions, do an analysis on your store and your business, and see what the problem really is. Because 9 times out of 10, it's probably not the platform in and of itself, especially if it's a platform that has history like eBay. And again, looking at the big picture, how many people that complain about eBay being broke and their store is not getting any traffic, how many of them go to a website like that and look at the traffic and look at the actual data? How many? Because based on that data, eBay really isn't the problem. And we're going to set aside for now, you know, the natural ebb and flows of online retail in and of itself, because there are natural ebb and flows, right? There are times during the year, periods during the month, when things go up and things go down. which leads me to the other point that a lot of people don't track their sales month to month, year to year, and so they really don't know, hey, this time of year is typically slower anyway. This month is typically slower anyway. After these holidays, it typically slows down. And so you can kind of like, because you know that, you don't panic. You don't start lowering your prices to below market rates just to get some sales. Like, what is that? And if you got to keep doing that anyway to sell stuff, then you probably selling the wrong things. You either selling the wrong things, or you just kind of you kind of having trouble figuring out what exactly what it is that you're doing. But traffic on eBay seems to be doing pretty good overall. Traffic on Amazon, over 2 billion. Over 2 billion. If you ain't selling on Amazon, you need to start. And so that brings me to my other point as far as like pricing. Should you start raising your prices? I mean, because you already got the price takers out there making it hard for us, right? But also, when you look at the landscape of what's going on in the world, in our country in particular, specifically, you got shipping prices going up, right? You have fees going up. On eBay, fees are going up. Only place I really haven't seen fees go up yet is Walmart, but that's probably going to change eventually. Amazon's there's some long-term storage fees that's going up, things like that. So fees are going up everywhere, on everything, right? But when you look at the market and what people are doing on the platforms, prices for items are not necessarily going up at all. If anything, they're going down, and they're going down precipitously in some categories when it comes to certain types of items. And so the problem is that you can't really be the Lone Ranger, right? That jumps out there and starts to raise their price if the rest of your competition isn't doing the same thing. And so if the items you're selling at the moment are, if you're struggling with profitability on the items you're selling, then as the way it looks right now, for the most part, raising prices might not be an option, because if nobody else is really doing it, then you're just going to put yourself in a situation where you really ain't going to get any sales, right? So you really can't do that. The other option would be, at this point, you would have to start sourcing items that sell for more. I mean, I don't see what else you can do. So if you complaining that, oh man, prices on everything is going up, but my stuff is selling for less, that's probably right. I mean, if you look at everything going on eBay and Amazon and stuff, that's probably right. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate. But you can't be the first one to try to jump out there and think you're going to reset the market and get prices to go up if nobody else is doing it, because you're just going to set yourself up for failure and lose a lot of money. And so the only other option that I see with that is you got to kind of start sourcing higher profit or items that have a higher profitability. Anything else would kind of just not work right now. And depending on who you listen to, things are changing, inflation's coming down, but I don't know, you look across the board, Walmart still got layoffs going on. There's a lot of other layoffs happening across the country. So, I don't know, man. Myself, I'm just trying to be strategic about it and mix in items that sell for more. Because I realize, and then the ones that ain't, things that's tanking, if I can avoid it, I just try not to source those things, Look, some things that you source used to be really profitable. You used to make a lot of money on it, right? But right now, that ain't the case. And so instead of crying about it and saying, oh man, I used to make this amount on this and this amount and this just, all right, well, look, that's the natural cycle of business, right? Some businesses flourish for a while and then they die off, Some items flourish for a while and are super profitable, and eventually they're not no more. And so all you can do as a business owner, small business owner, as an entrepreneur, you should be anticipating these things anyway. You shouldn't, look, if you find an item, let's say you buying it for $5 and it's selling for $30. right? After expenses and everything, let's say your profit $10, $15, whatever. I don't know. It just depends. But let's just say it's a profitable item, right? And you making money hand over fist. Well, common sense would dictate that eventually, that's going to come to an end, right? Whether it be other people entering the market, whether it be the crazy folks who like to price tank everything, regardless of what happens, it's probably going to change at some point. And so while you're enjoying the fruits of that item being profitable, you should automatically be thinking eventually that's going to come to an end. So let me just continually source things that are selling for more right now, things that are trending, doing research. And what I find is that a lot of people are just lazy when it comes to that aspect of things, doing the research, doing projections, trying to be ahead of the curve. So we see things trending up when it comes to prices, shipping, things like that. That would automatically tell you I need to be looking at items that sell for more, that have a higher average sell price. I mean, it's just simple, right? There's no reason for me to waste my time in groups posting about eBay's slow. I ain't sold nothing in a week. Well, why? Why haven't you sold anything in a week? Why? Have you tried to answer that question? Have you dissected your listings? Have you dissected your titles? Have you dissected your images? Have you dissected things? Have you have you done any extra research on that market? That could be a market that's in decline. Those could be items that are in decline. Do you know the answers to these questions? That would be what I would ask a person, And if you can't answer that, well, then that is the problem. Not eBay, not Amazon. That's the problem. But when you start to answer those questions, then you can start to find solutions that are practical. You can start to find solutions that will bring you up out of that situation. It might be something you just got to let go and move on from. You know what I mean? Like for me, one of the things about what I do is I sell mostly health and beauty and cosmetics, right? In that category. But what I've been doing lately is researching to move and branch out into other categories. While it's a very profitable category, one of the things I've been doing is trying to mix in, because a lot of the items, you got to do volume for the most part, right? You got to be always selling, because a lot of the items don't have really high margins. But also, while some of them don't have really high margins, but still sell, things are going to go in and out of popularity, right? Certain makeup, certain shades, certain things like that. People just might not use no more, whatever, so on and so forth. So me knowing this, one of the things I'll be doing, or that I do, is I'm adding in, continually trying to find different items, newer items, right? I'm adding in items that have a higher average sell price to raise my overall average sell price. But also what I'm doing is I am looking to branch out in different categories. But it's not something I'm gonna do, like, I guess you can say, too quickly. You know what I mean? So for instance, and I'll give you an example. We know we're in spring, summer's coming up. You got gardening going on and things like that, outdoor stuff happening. And so it would be a good time to increase my overall sales by adding things that are lawn and garden, maybe home items, things that have to do with outdoor activities. And this is simple stuff. I mean, and a lot of y'all already doing it, and including myself. But here's the things that I think a lot of people who complain about their sales don't even kind of consider. Like, if the stuff you selling is not in demand right now, then maybe you should start looking at other things that are in demand. That people like to garden. That people are about to be spending a lot of time outside. We going into what? Is this the second year that we kind of been away from all that lockdown stuff? Something like that. So people kind of like getting comfortable, and it's just going to be a lot of activities going on. And so as a business person, you need to ask yourself and look at the whole landscape and say, okay, this ain't really doing good. So why, if you know that you've done everything you could to kind of like fix that, you know, you made sure your listings are good, your prices are good, and you know, it is what it is right now, why continue to focus time and energy on something that's really not helping you progress? You need to kind of like be flexible. I don't know if y'all remember this old Bruce Lee interview, but he said you need to be like water. Be like water, my friend. Water flows. Takes on the shape of whatever it's put into. And I feel like while that does have like a really, really big, you know, has a profound meaning if you think about it, but it's applicable across anything in life. Anything in life. And when it comes to reselling, you have to be like water. You got to be like water. You have to be able to flow. You have to be, if you come up against a rock, don't try to keep going through the rock. Find a way around it, find a way over it, find a way under it. Water is going to flow regardless. And when water can't flow and it just sits in a pool, it becomes stagnant, all types of nasty stuff begins to grow, it becomes putrid. That's kind of what happens to your business if you're not finding a way for it to continue to flow. You're going to become stagnant, putrid, and your business is going to die off. So, you know, if you pour water in a cup, it becomes the shape of that cup. If the cup is brown, square, whatever, it's going to become the shape of whatever it's poured into, right? Your business has to be able to adapt to whatever's going on in the industry, whatever is going on in the economy. You have to be able to adapt. And one of the things you do that is you plan. You plan for eventualities that could affect your business in a positive and even more so negative manner. And so when it comes to, you know, raising prices and things like that, I really don't think that's an option, man. I really don't think that's an option. It's only going to put yourself in a bind. I think if you're struggling with, you know, price tankers and things going down in volume, then you're probably going to have to just start sourcing other types of items. And there's really no way around that one. I mean, one of the things you can probably try to do maybe is cross-posting, but I just feel like people would rather revert to gimmicks over problem solving. You know, and I'm not saying cross-posting necessarily is a gimmick. Not saying that at all. Because depending on, you know, your model and what you got going on, I mean, it might make sense. But if you're talking about, like on eBay, people want to delist and relist and run fake sales. You know, let me mark this up 20% and then run a sale that's 20% off. Like, consumers are that dumb, you know? Consumers are not stupid, man. Consumers are very savvy. And if the economy is not good, then they're definitely going to be even more savvy and judicious about how they spend their money. So your little fake 20% off sale ain't fooling nobody, trust me. And so reverting to these gimmicks of delist, relist, sometimes cross-posting, things like that, those are short-term answers to a long-term problem. Short-term answers to a long-term problem that you may see results in the short term, but you'll never see any good long-term results. You just won't. And if you don't believe me, just listen to the group people in the groups. Just listen to the people in the groups, because they're going to keep on complaining about the same stuff over and over again. It don't get no better for them, man. And you know why it don't get no better for them? Because they are not solving the issue. They are not seeking the solution to the real issues. That's why. Only when you seek the solution to the real issue as to why your sales are slow will you begin to see long-term change. And if you don't, you're going to always have these problems until eventually you're just going to quit. And you're going to blame it on everything and everybody but yourself. Self-accountability. It's up to you as the business owner to figure out what's going on with your business and to come up with a cohesive, solid plan as to how you're going to address it and overcome it. This is what companies do that survive and stand the test of time. I used to do all that stuff, but I stopped it, man. I don't revert to the quote unquote gimmicks no more. I don't burden myself and put in time trying to delist and relist. Look, if something ain't selling for me, I'll do a couple things, but one of the main things I'll do is let's just say it's eBay. I'll go in, I'll double check the listing or whatever, but if it still ain't moving, I just get rid of it. And move on. I don't source that stuff if I can help it again, because I buy liquidation. Sometimes I can't really, do nothing about it. But then I'll know the next time not to list it, and I'll just put it in a bulk lot and just get rid of it right from the door. I won't even try to do that again. You know what I mean? So I learned from my lesson on that, in that aspect. But I ain't wasting time delisting, relisting. I ain't wasting time going in and trying to run a fake sale. No, what for? What for? That's not how you grow a business. That's not how you run a profitable business. And so if you keep doing those things, you're always keep doing what you're doing. You're going to keep getting what you've been getting. Simple as that, man. And that's just the facts of it. And so stop. I think it's a bad idea to post in these groups about your sales is slow, because you're going to keep getting people who are going to offer you what you're looking for. And all they're going to do is kind of validate what you're saying, but nobody's really going to give you any solid constructive criticism or advice as to what to do to kind of like get yourself out of whatever hole it is that you feel like you're in at the moment. And so in my opinion, eBay is not the problem. eBay traffic is not the problem. Amazon's not the problem. I mean, we looked at some of the analytics on what's going on with the traffic to those sites, and we see that actually they've been up even over last month as far as traffic goes. The question is, what are you doing? What are you selling? What are your listings like? What type of products are you selling? What is the quality of the item you're selling? What is your customer service like? What is your customer service metrics on these platforms? Because these platforms, if your metrics are not good, you're not going to get the traffic. The algorithms are set up that way to send traffic to those who provide the highest level of customer service, to send them the most traffic. Simple as that. You give people problems with returns. Your listings are crappy. You put in half-hearted effort, then you're going to get half the results as the person who does the research, as the person who does go in and evaluate their listings as to why maybe they're not getting traffic to it, as the person who does go above and beyond in customer service. Listen, this thing ain't hard, but it does take work. It's not rocket science, but there is a science to it, right? And the people who put in that effort, those are the people who are going to get the results. And the people who don't and just want to complain and post in the groups, don't want to go look at the analytics, don't want to go look at the data, work backwards and see where the core issue is. The core issue. That's what you need to ask yourself. What is the root cause? If people started there, I don't think you would have a lot of those posts. What is the root cause of you not having as many sales as you think you should? Ask yourself that question. What is the root cause? I think that if you ask yourself that question and work your way backwards, Amazon, eBay, or whatever platform you're selling on will not be the root cause. While there can be contributing factors, it won't be the root cause. And when you find that root cause, then you come up with a clear, concise, and cohesive plan of action to attack it, right? To fix the problem. I think you'll start to see progress. So sometimes you got to go take a step back to take a couple steps forward. And some people don't want to put in that time and effort and take that step back in order to get forward, not realizing that that's actually going to put you even further than you would be by doing what you're trying to do and running these gimmicks and running these fake sales and doing this delist reading and wasting all this time doing stuff that really don't even matter. Instead of figuring out the root cause of things and addressing your business that way. Okay. So look, I'm gonna knock out the rest of these little items real quick. in this one right now. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm wrong? Even though I know I'm not wrong. You can tell me if you think I am, though. Tell me what you think in the comments below, man. What's going on? Or are you experiencing slow sales? Do you think that have you tried to raise prices? I don't know. But how are you addressing the issue? That is the main thing. How are you addressing the issue? And have you ever seen it that way? Trying to figure out what the root cause is as to what your slow sales, the reason for your slow sales. And do you think it's a good idea to delist and relist and, run the fake sales where you increase the item by 20% just to run a 20% off? It's just a waste of time. But anyway, share your thoughts below in the comments. Hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified next time I upload another video.